My name is Bruno Donat. I just changed location of this press brief, because I was in a location where just behind me there was Gaza in the state of Palestine. For security reasons, I was not detained, but I was questioned, interrogated by the police and security services, but that's a sidetrack. The reason I'm doing this press brief is to officially announce today, June 15, 2025, that I'm running for the post of Secretary General at the United Nations. And there was a soft launch, it's good for you to know of that, on the 26th of May, where I said the same thing to the United Nations officially, going through the office of Secretary General Antonio Guterres, whom I thank for his leadership. And also I announced that through a series of notes verbales and letters and communications, including to my Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam. I am currently a senior official of the United Nations. So I am a member of the personnel, but this conference, I'm doing it as a candidate. And we check the law, my legal advisors explain it is possible, just like it is possible to run for office, just like former Secretary General Kofi Annan. So you come from the UN to the highest office. It is possible, and depending on how long you do the campaign, as long as you don't use United Nations resources, I'm not doing, as long as we're not going against the aims and principles of the UN or the interest, I'm not doing, because I'm a candidate. I'm a citizen of the Republic of Mauritius, born and bred there, and went on for school, and educational background is theology, military, political science, with a concentration on two things: international relations and conflict. 25 plus years of international affairs, mostly at the United Nations Secretariat. A lot of it have to do with peace and peacekeeping and peacemaking, with the humanitarian hat. And I did some, I think 8 years-ish at the World Bank, also a specialized agency of the United Nations before. And prior, NGOs, including Human Rights Watch, and then think tank Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. So you see a bit where I'm coming from. How did we get to this point? It started a few months ago, when I realized that what was going on in the state of Palestine, both in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, is not acceptable, is unbearable, is against international law, whether it is international human rights law, whether it is international humanitarian law. And the organization I still work with right now calls it a plausible genocide. So the United Nations, in this case, the International Court of Justice, if you have followed the case, calls it a plausible genocide. So as a staff member, I can say it's a plausible genocide. But as a candidate, I say it is a genocide. Of what we are seeing, the information I get, this is an unacceptable genocide being committed by Israel, by the Israeli Defense Forces. And what bothers me the most is the number of babies, boys, girls being massacred. When I realized that, a few of us in international affairs, and don't be shocked, for those of you who don't know, we realize we are idiots. So we joined a loose coalition called Idiots for Peace, I for P. I repeat, Idiots for Peace. Now, it's a loose coalition, I guess, of people who want to do more on human rights, on protection of civilians. And as a group, we discussed. Then came the next level. I realized after the discussions that we need change and we cannot wait too much. Am I putting all kinds of things at risk for me, for myself, for my family, for my career? Yes. Am I scared? No. Can things go really bad? Yes. But I think as I teach even to younger folks, including my son, we have to have the courage to live our convictions, no matter what. I think you would join me to be sad. I'm very sad of what I see. So point number two is what inspired me is the situation in the state of Palestine, the suffering, and the other side of the coin was the deafening silence. I've been a diplomat. I don't know whether I said that before. I have diplomatic status because I'm a senior official. The reverse of the coin, when I look on one side, I see the suffering not only of the civilians. I mean, that terrorists die, okay, too bad. But when civilians, babies, thousands, babies, boys and girls, the count now, from what I'm told from official figures of the United Nations, my colleagues of OCHA send those figures, if I'm not mistaken, more than 50,000, 50 plus civilians. If I'm wrong, somebody online correct me. I don't see a screen, just interrupt me and say it's not more than 50,000. And when the rubble will be removed and cleaned, we will find more people. So, inspired, unfortunately, by babies, boys and girls who are being killed, and those who are still alive, some of them maimed. I don't want to share this now, but I need to tell you, if you are listening to me, if you have children or you know of children, when we have a toothache or headache, we suffer. Right now in Gaza, and I think some of you saw the images, we have children who are being amputated without anesthesia. I want you that to sink in a little bit. So this is no joke. People are suffering. And I cannot understand, as a human being, as whomever, candidate, human being, that my colleagues are staying silent. I do not accept that. Am I angry? Yes. Am I not happy with the silence? Yes. Because in this situation of the war, and unfortunately for me, I saw where I was coming from, there were fireworks in the sky last night and the night before, but that's something else. We don't need to talk about that. When I say something, it does not negate the other. I want the theme of this conversation, hopefully I hear questions. One thing does not negate the other. So right now, I told you my main focus is Palestine, mostly Gaza. Point number three, why am I running? Is to give a global platform to the female candidates running for the same post. It could be strange. People don't do that. It doesn't matter. My point is I gave the global platform, number one, to the kids of Palestine. Number two, I'm giving a global platform to female candidates. I looked at the profile of the potential female candidates, and I decided to put the Honorable Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados on my webpage to see whether I have no clue. I did go liaise with her ambassador at Genève recently, but we have not continued the conversation. What my campaign is doing is reaching out to the female candidates, and I will even give them a space on my campaign if they want to join. And eventually, carry on. The second woman candidate you will see on my website, which is bruno4sg.com, I think. BRUNOFORSG for secretary-general.com. There's a page there. I don't know where it is because I haven't seen it. The second candidate I'm supporting is the Right Honorable former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand. And what I'm encouraging candidates to do, even if you're not nominated or supported, run. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm running, and officially I could, but because during my career, and I'm not using United Nations means, I have a list of friends who are now in the positions of current sitting heads of state or heads of government, and some are quasi family, I would say. So I'm encouraging other women candidates to show up. I don't know who you are, and we will put a profile of each of you on my campaign webpage. I'm running of a ticket on focus on children. Two types. One, I'm talking to all children wherever you are. I need ideas from you. This candidacy will listen to children. And I'm not talking about up in the air situation. We will give you a spot. We are trying to, we just started today, so we're trying to give a space to collect feedback from children. What do they want? Because our time is almost over. We are the older adults, and I've been inspired by so many children. So that point is on children. It has two parts. Children of everywhere in the world. If you have some ideas, you can go to the website. And there are two things I know is in preparation, but is not ready yet. But there's a spot you can immediately put your ideas. It's called feedback or something like that, or support. It's only for children. But then we will do two projects that are cooking and exchange of ideas between children of different places of the world. I don't have to mention Gaza again. Like, say, imagine a child in Congo does an art piece and shares with a child of Switzerland and back and forth. This is the project, but you got the point about children. The second group of children are children who are suffering. So my platform, mostly in conflicts and wars, whether you are in Sudan, you're a child, a boy, a girl, a baby, whether you are in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Eastern DRC for now, whether you are in Myanmar, whether you are in Iran, next door here, Lebanon, Yemen, Syria, on the web, I don't know if I'm talking just like that, on the web, there's a page I dedicate to all. And if anybody's speaking here, because the web just started in the middle of the night, give us ideas which conflict to highlight. Next point is about giving the voice to people who don't have a voice at the United Nations. I go back. This does not negate the official channels. It does not. But I really want them to be able to hear what us from the Global South have to do. And Global South, it doesn't have to be the elected officials, but I'm talking about specific, like indigenous populations, minority populations, those who are disabled. And I'm asking some of my staff, make it happen that we can collect feedback and highlight those who are disabled. Some of you know I've worked a lot in that area. Let me announce now who is my campaign director, because there's a link to those with disability. My campaign director, high level, and I still call him Excellence or Minister, is Honorable Minister, retired, Armugam Parsuraman. Those who are in Mauritius may know of him, they will know of him. He is a former minister in many governments, and he was a former senior director in the United Nations, including UNESCO. We kind of shared offices in Dakar when I was posted there, but he was there before me. Now, it does not negate my diplomacy. I'm still a nice guy. Here, I'm going to call it either 3Ds or what have you. Disrupt. The first D is disrupt. I think disrupt the opacity of selections of, and be precise, the Secretary General, the Deputy Secretary General, disrupt the opacity of nominations and selections of Under Secretary General, disrupt the opacity of selection of Assistant Secretary General. We can stop there. It is so opaque. It is not normal that in today's world, and it's not a coincidence. So, it's the hush hush diplomacy. Hush hush diplomacy is okay. Why is it that the head of Department of Peace Operations, where I work currently, has to be French? Why? Why is it that the head of the humanitarian, is it a coincidence you think that it is a UK person? And we have 193 member states, and it so happens that it is? I know they are behind the scenes. I want to disrupt that. I'm running on, of course, they will not like me now, but who cares? I'm also a citizen of the United States of America. And I think for America, it's the DPPA, Department of Peace Building and Political Affairs. This one is reserved for the United States of America. No, it should be anybody, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Djibouti, Japan. I mean, we have to diversify. I'm going to disrupt the opacity of selection for key posts. The second D is decolonize. We have seen how humanitarian aid is handled. Now, I'm not talking about next door Gaza, because this is even the worst of the worst. But even through the normal channels over the years, we have to decolonize the way aid. Now, the US, we got a shock when USAID disappeared. This is a decision of President Trump. I think in next door Gaza, with the fact that there's a strange organization, I don't understand. I didn't ask them either. Swiss-based NGO, USA, Israel, and we are almost weaponizing now. I use that word. So I want to disrupt the weaponizing of humanitarian aid. And the last D in that category is diversify. And I should like to thank current Secretary General. He is trying at his level to diversify in terms of gender, in terms of race. He's trying, but it's not taking off. In terms of nationality, because I think he did a great job along gender lines. And because we're on diversity, I think I got into lots of trouble when it happened in June 2020, when George Floyd was killed by the policeman with his foot blocking his oxygen in his neck. A few of us just wanted to go out in solidarity and protest for human rights, because as United Nations staff, we need to denounce violation of human rights. The first reaction of the United Nations, the ethics office, hopefully one day they will be held accountable. They say, no. I am paraphrasing. You sign your life away. You cannot. You are UN official. And we said no. And in fact, kudos to Secretary General Antonio Guterres, but I didn't wait for him. I went to the protest. I went BLM. It was Black Lives Matter. Again, please, Black Lives Matter is one thing. It does not negate other races. But at that time, it was important to do that. The Secretary General did a good thing, and that's what I've been writing on since 2020. He said, no. The ethics office it didn't say they messed up. He said, they didn't mean that. And he said, No, you should participate, I think he said, in peaceful protest. I don't know what the word is. Somebody can even throw, if there's a text in this thing, you can throw that quote. He says, as long as you, United Nations staff, you do it in your entire private, personal, and unofficial capacity. I took that directives from my Secretary General and I ran with it. That's how I was able to denounce racism. Why I'm putting it in this talking point, because this is about diversity. I want to give you two examples. When we got the supposedly green light, we were able to protest. But move forward. What's happening in Gaza? Sorry. But now, same thing. We should be out there. It's outrageous. What does the ethics office? They do their threatening language. You are not allowed to, but nobody corrected them. And I think, other than those who are mandated supposedly to work on Palestine, I will not give you horror stories. Kudos to Madame Francesca Albanese, is that her name? I hope so. Who's doing an amazing job of advocacy of whatever she can do. A colleague of mine, sorry, now I'm going to throw names, Mark Polan, thank you so much. I know you put it publicly, so I can say there in the web, you said, other than me, Bruno, you haven't heard colleagues denouncing. But I think, listen to that, I think it's racist. It is racist because the same way we were able to go out there when George Floyd died, most of the people who are killed next door are brown. They are brown like me, right? And I like to, with my Anglican tradition, do via negativa. I wonder, I don't know the statistics. I think since October 2023, more than 420 humanitarians were killed. They just didn't die. They were killed by Israel. Of those 400 plus humanitarians, some, I think 310 plus are UNRWA colleagues that are working next door and in the region here, are brown, and they were killed by Israel, many of them together with their families. But via negativa or what? I'm going to prove it. Try. Imagine one member state did 1% of that destruction, of that genocide. If a member state, let's pick just for that example, in front of a compound or of a building of United Nations, New York, you have a member state and shoot 4 people, not 400, just 4. And they so happen to be Americans, Caucasian, or Geneva, European, Caucasian. Do you think we will be quiet the way we are quiet? Therefore, I'm running also, I'm going to the next point, on accountability, timely accountability, both external to the UN and in the UN. And I'm telling you, this is not revenge. This is justice. This is responsibility. What is happening, what has happened for too long, we UN officials, we have immunity. You know, when something goes wrong and you want to complain, you're not complaining about the guy who did something supposedly wrong, alleged, whatever, but you're actually attacking the SG. Hopefully, maybe one day me. And they're always hiding under immunity, and they abuse that system. I am telling you, my ticket is to try to, within the rules and regulations, and ask member states for their leadership, because every time something happens, our staffers are not accountable. I'm going to give you 2 examples about how I want to bring accountability. Do you know, I don't know whether you know, I'm a civilian peacekeeper, yes, to give you the context. There are military peacekeepers and civilian peacekeepers. But currently, and too many times, some of our peacekeepers have misbehaved. Some have been accused of sexual abuse, rape, and don't be too shocked. Just like in the church, there are so many priests. It's proven rape children. There's a particular profile. Our organization, we have amazing values. United Nations, we attract some strange people. Going back to the peacekeeping situation, even if you find evidence that a peacekeeper raped a kid, you cannot sue them. The UN cannot do anything. But that is wrong. The only thing that could happen, the peacekeeper is sent out of the mission and they go to their national jurisdiction. This is scandalous. Because I thought about peacekeeping and I'm talking ad lib. So keeping on those 3Ds, we move to the next action. Some people know I sing a lot with guitar because I'm in connection with my emotions. Sometimes it's impossible and I cannot not cry. I hope I don't do that now. I want to focus on humanization. My ticket, we want to work on human decency, human dignity. I saw the word dignity floating, but it's a word. I want people to feel. I throw in the word love there. Love, peace, compassion. And in my web, you will see I go on 3 things I call authenticity, to be in touch with your real feelings. Don't hide them. If you need to go out, protest, go out, protest. I won't comment on what happened to me yesterday during the interrogation. I wasn't protesting. But human decency, human dignity, and the 3 things I put there is authenticity, freedom, and ethical leadership. These are some of the key themes from which we can develop. And I want your ideas, because the ideas are good, but I want implementation. I want to run on that ticket. Obviously, when I run, it's not me who decides, it's the member states who decide. But you have to have the courage of your convictions. You have to push it out there. Nobody will. You would remember when I did the hunger strike, which started in, I think last year, March 1st, 2024, in front of the United Nations in Geneva. And of some 20 days, I brought it to New York. Over there was some incidents. There's no accountability for those who are violent with me. But you need to know those things, because it's not confidential. Where's my coffee? It's good. I had to go through security, and given they are putting everybody in there, unfortunately, a few were beaten up here also yesterday, I saw. I am allowed to work with this at the United Nations, but I know even some people are thinking, they were joking, they were thinking about me. There was a memorial recently, and they had to cover Gaza. They had no choice. Can you imagine in an invitation, they had more paragraphs about the kufiyya. Suddenly, the United Nations safety and security are becoming fashion police. It is so ridiculous. Why am I showing that about lack of accountability? I will give you a little story. Those who assaulted me, my own colleagues, because I was trying to enter my workplace, of course they went and invented stories, but there are cameras, and sub judice or not, I will talk about it as a candidate. 5 times they pulled me out because of this. And I checked on the Geneva website. This is not a prohibited item to bring. And guess what? And let's not kid ourselves. The leadership of UN Geneva, they knew it. USG Philippe Lazzarini, head of UNRWA, whom I respect, is doing an impossible job, had a closed door briefing on what's happening about UNRWA and Palestine. Closed door briefing. who do you think the UN put as head of security for that meeting? Because we have to say that. An Israeli citizen and is in charge of security. And he pulls me out of the meeting. Of course, there's going to be inquiries. Pull me out with violence. I put my stuff in. If there are more lawyers out there, if you want to help me join my campaign, and there's cameras in the corridor, push me. What is the reason? I'm wearing that. I mean, are they nuts? That's how we need to speak. Again, it's okay to be angry. And I say one emotion does not negate the other. And I would encourage people to be more angry. If you can know how to canalize your emotions, go ahead. But you don't need to be violent. You can be angry without being violent. But why? And those people they are getting away with it. It will take forever. But because people are buying down to pressure, I will not. There's one way that I will. Me, the person, I will go to heaven again. I don't know whether you know I went to heaven 3 times. Send me back. But I'm pretty sure if I go, my legacy will still be there. Multi-track diplomacy. I learned it was very. So track one is government officials, so we don't kill it. But I want to approach my candidacy. I would really encourage people to go with part one, track one, but I want a multi-track approach. This is why my campaign will get it from youth, from women, from organizations to really get the maximum of ideas for our campaign to take off. We are trying to get amongst you country volunteers, not to go around and say vote for Bruno, what have you, but you can become an official volunteer in your country. So at least I want 193 countries in which we are volunteers and they decide to do whatever. The only thing I want is to get feedback, because I want feedback to come from bottom up.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Bruno. And first of all, congratulations to your candidacy. I think it's a very great initiative that you are taking. You are a great candidate for this position. We're currently in Cairo, and thank you, yes, for the mentioning and for explaining your motives of doing this candidacy, which is the current genocide in Gaza and in Palestine, and how the so-called global community has reacted to this. Including the global governmental institutions, which is absolutely shocking. And of course, what the Palestinian people are experiencing these days is more than any human can bear, and they're still standing, and it's heartbreaking from a human and also from a professional perspective to see this world and these morals and law structures that we have built falling apart like this. Thank you for mentioning the Global March to Gaza. We are an international grassroots movement that has started to mobilize very recently, only 2 months ago. We have mobilized over 4,000 people globally who flew. I mean, we've mobilized many more. We have tens of thousands back in our home countries, but 4,000 delegates flew to Cairo, where we're at now. We had been in negotiations and discussions with Egyptian authorities to obtain the permission to march to Rafah, because it's a military zone, and in any case, Egypt, the local laws are that the national laws is that you need a permission for a march, for a demonstration. So we have been trying to obtain it. We didn't have a clear answer until we arrived to Cairo, and so we intended to proceed as we have always stated, and then many of our delegations were blocked on their way to Ismailia, which Ismailia is not a city in the military zone. It's before that we were intending to go to a hotel there in order to stay put and keep the negotiations. This has been met with unpleasant experiences, unfortunately. However, we're still in Cairo and we're still determined on keeping the conversations, on stating from our global initiative that this, what is happening, is not in our name, that we are doing everything that is in our power to pressure our governments to put a stop and a halt onto this situation that is for no one to bear, really, and onto the disrespect of our international order and our legal order, which is not tolerable for any of us.
A question, and you're being recorded, by the way. um, why is it that you think people don't care? I'm not well. I have an answer. I think I told you. I mean, we didn't meet yet. Why there was police brutality yesterday? I know why. It's obvious to me. Why do you think people do not care? Why is it that they don't show up? And the few who have the courage of their convictions to come out, they get into trouble. Why is that?
I think a lot of people care. It's not that they not care. It's that this is contained very much, and the media is doing its job and being complicit in a genocide, as media oftentimes do. I mean, it's always the media, like Radio Rwanda, who has had a major impact and who has actually made the genocide possible. So, and in this specific genocide that we're witnessing now, shockingly, is being perpetrated by Western countries. So obviously, the Western media would do its part, to keep this going as it is. And why this is, well, from a political side, there are interests behind shielding Israel from being held accountable. So they have economic, military interests, geopolitical interests. Why? Even though I'm pretty sure they are not very happy with what they are seeing, but they are putting no stop, no obstacle to it. The United States government, it would be enough one phone call and this madness would stop.
I'm going to spill a few of the beans, Melanie, because you are one of, is that word in English? Heroines, not the drug. You're a hero. You're a hero because you stood up for your convictions. I don't know whether people know around this table, you were fired. Why were you fired? Because you're a government official of Germany. You stood up for your views. But it's important that I tell people, including UN officials, you have the inviolability of your personal convictions, beliefs, and views. Nobody can take that away. So thank you, Melanie. It's important for people to know those people exist. Now, where I'm not sure whether I will diverge, I will probably get into trouble, but it's okay. I don't care. I'm here because what is happening next door is unacceptable. Speeches are okay. Again, one doesn't negate the other. Quiet diplomacy is okay. Public diplomacy, I think we need to do more. And I am a peacekeeper, and my specialty is to disarm people. I've done that as a career, to negotiate with folks who do bad things and to disarm them. I'm even ready to go in and disarm Hamas and have programs, because people need to face accountability. Some will have to face justice. Some can go into some kind of program of rehab, I don't know. But if you've committed a crime anywhere, you have to face justice. And you know what? This applies to the current Prime Minister of Israel. Your member state? Okay. But we will not bow down to you. Mr. Netanyahu, you need to face justice. You can buy time. You can try to any kind of shenanigans. Some people will bow down, but there are a few people, even those who are beaten up by police, they are not, they are there, they're risking a lot. So I am telling you, you will face justice. Whomever dies first, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But my legacy will prevail. But in the context of my candidacy, I am saying justice is essential. Accountability is essential. Human rights. I mean, we have made a joke of international law. Now, if the UN keeps on making statements like me singing Kumbaya, it doesn't work. We need to do more. And I'm telling you, as a candidate, believe you me, I can do things. And if the women candidates are hearing me, whether it is Prime Minister, I don't even know whether you're running or not, Maya Motley or Jacinda Ardern or New Zealand or whomever else, we can even do a coalition of voices. I'm ready to join you as long as you also agree. Because actually, I had a plan, but I cannot say too much about it. Because I want some candidates to come together, come with me. I could not go further in the region I'm in, which is understandable. The police interrogated me for too long. And like Melanie explained, the reaction of the police where they stopped, but I don't know how, maybe somehow I was able to go through further. Maybe because I got lucky, I was able to go through the police and security barriers. My point here, justice, and I'm going to name names, but this is only the beginning of the campaign. Mon pensée nous cave cause créole. Si disons José ou bien Jean-Marie, I don't know who else is here, je t'ai envie de dire une parole, c'est recorded, hein? Si je t'ai envie de causer, mettre un dialogue, mettez. Oui, dis-moi.
Nous suivons en direct là. Bravo, nous avons bien. Continuez. Nous ensemble avec vous.
Merci, c'est bien gentil. Et si vous êtes capable, même dans nos villages, à Get du Moon, implique-moi dans sa campagne, nous tu fais là. Parce que c'est important ça. Vous connaissez où crier, moi tout, je m'en non pas faire ça pour gagner l'amènement. Mais il fallait gagner l'amènement. Parce que, qui fait me concentrer aux enfants. Parce que c'est eux qui nous l'avenir. Nous, on est fini vieux. Mais pas capable de laisser là croire. Vous connaissez, quand il y a génocide au Rwanda, de dire aïe, pas pour faire encore. Quand justement, il y a holocauste, nous tu condamné. Mais pas capable de dire devant nous, 20 enfants peut tuer comme ça et nous peut casser. Mais non, que you can speak. Que c'est.
Retourner, come back.
Okay, tomorrow. I'm coming. Thank you so much. The whole point of this, and I'm so sorry it was last minute. It was not supposed to be here. It was very well organized somewhere else. But because of the security situations and the fireworks and the attack on both on Iran and Iran responding, and it was not safe to be in that area. That's it. I should like to thank you from the deepest part of my heart. The current team of volunteers hail from New Zealand, Zimbabwe, US, Lebanon, Sweden, Tunisia, Mauritius. Yes, I don't know how, but some Mauritian dude came on board and he's helping me. I don't have the permission to put their names. He helped me with the web and Skylar in the middle of the night. Madagascar is here. Give me more. 3 structures being built. The front office, also private office. It has different functions. And then I have a bunch of senior advisors. And then I have a group of friends. They're not officially here, but publicly, I know that the second president of Mauritius, of the Republic of Mauritius, President Kassam Outim, he has publicly supported me on several of the things I've done in life, including on Palestine, and he's even written publicly. So I just want to thank President Kassam Outim for also your courage and leadership and mentorship. I would say the same to the president, the sixth president, Madame la Présidente Amina Gorib Fakim. Thank you, Madame, for your courage. And I think, I don't know whether you know that, Excellence, I think you're the only recommendation which is on my LinkedIn. So I have one recommendation on my page, and it's from the sixth president of Mauritius. So I have so many people to thank. It doesn't mean they're on my team. I want to thank too many people who have been my mentors. Like maybe USG Mohammed Shambas may not want to be mentioned because I know he's very by the book, but I learned a lot from him. And I want to give one little example. Small country. It was under the leadership of Mohammed Shambas that I learned how to get rid of a dictator. We did it together with the region. ECOWAS was on board, other countries, but we were able to get rid and support the removal of former Gambian president Yahya Jammeh. Why? And I learned a lot how to do that. So, of course, Israel is not Gambia. Of course, they control the economics of the world. But there are some lessons to learn to be made. I thank Special Envoy, former Special Envoy, Hirud Gabriel Selassie. I learned so much from you. And if you can help, I thank former President of Ethiopia, Saleh Work Zeudi. You were my boss for a small time, but for your leadership. I thank Reverend Father Wevel Ramkelawan, Reverend Father, but you are also, I think your second job is to be the president of the Seychelles. I thank you all for your leadership. Unfortunately, I'm adding something strange. You see, there are cowards. This is an English word, cowards in my environment, whether it is environment where I live, where I work, at the United Nations. And one day somebody told me, do you think they employ people to try to see whether you will make a mistake? And then, oh, he said that word, we should arrest him. Whatever, get a life. I will stay there. Whether you fire me or not, I will continue my campaign. I will invite other causes to join my campaign. I will support others, and I'm supporting all kinds of causes. Give us ideas. Show up, put your name. There are different sections. I don't even understand my website. I encourage you to come. I don't do well with threats, and I think you know, right? I don't know why, but I'm getting it too often. Je remercie la police diplomatique de Genève, la brigade de sécurité diplomatique de Genève, because they have done an amazing job whenever I disturb them with my outreach in favor of babies, boys and girls of Palestine. And one thing I want to almost close with is, I don't know the story, but I've received credible threats. Okay, I'm still alive. I'm still here and I'm here to stay. And then there's something I want you to know. I don't threaten people. Okay, I act. And I don't know the story, but if you saw a bullet or you heard a bullet coming close, maybe to your ears, that is not a threat. That means it was not meant for you. Remember that. If you saw it and you lived it, the threat is not for you. Thank you so much, dear team. Skylar, thank you so much. I know you haven't slept. Thank you all, and we will send you a snapshot of this. Thank you. Goodbye. Let's switch off. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.